What is up? Welcome back to Everything Goes here
And we are going all the way to California today for this interview.
on the West Coast. We have Jordan McCray joining us today. He is recently just got signed with the Bears for the offensive line. One of the best offensive linemen in the AAF before that league crashed, and we are excited to have him on here today with us. So stay tuned.
Been lit, boy. Everything goes.
We now return you to regular programming.
All right, guys, tonight we have a special guest on the phone. All the way from California, we have Jordan McCray, offensive lineman for the Chicago Bears. Jordan, how you doing?
I'm pretty good, man. How about yourself?
Doing excellent.
It's a pleasure to have you on, man. We appreciate it.
So how's it felt the last couple of days knowing that you're a Chicago Bear now?
It's been I've just been blessed overall because I've been trying to get myself back into the NFL for the past 4.5 years, and played in a lot of leagues. So just to be able to get the opportunity again, it's been amazing.
Now, how tough is it to keep that grind going, especially with the ups and the downs? I mean, your history. I mean, you've been with a couple teams, but does that ever get to a point where you're like, man, is it really worth it anymore?
Yeah, there's been a couple of points that I've been like that as well. But I've had a really strong support system with my family. And so whenever I was feeling down, they would always bring me back up. And then seeing my brother do the same thing, and I know that I'm just as good of a player, always pushed me to keep trying until it worked out in my favor.
Now, how is that, having a brother who also plays football? How is that growing up with him, knowing you guys can compete together?
I feel like it's probably been the best thing possible for me and for him as well. I never want to lose to him, and I know it's the same way. He feels the same way. So just being able to have somebody that you can always compete with really brought out the best in both of us.
Now, I got to ask, I played baseball with my brother, and there were a few times where it was rough playing with a sibling, especially if you made a wrong play or anything. Like, you could bash each other, but you could also help each other up. You guys ever have a conflict of that at all?
I'm not gonna lie, we never really had too much conflict. It was just I always wanted him to do extremely well, but I just wanted to be the best. That was probably his outlook as well. We always wanted each other to do really well, but it was a competition to see who's gonna be the better out of the two.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, your dad coached all of you, offensive line coach at your high school, correct? It was you, your twin brother Justin, and you have another brother Cliff that you all played together at UFC, right? Or UCF?
We all played. Yeah, UCF. Yeah, my dad was our offensive line coach. His last year coaching was our last year in high school, so that's really the only reason he was coaching for. And that helped out a lot as well. He pushed us a lot.
Now, did he play pro football?
He did not. He played football at Morris Brown College. He had a couple of tryouts. I remember him telling us with the Detroit Lions and USL, I think it was, but nothing besides that.
That had to be really cool at college. I mean, we talked to Aaron Evans about the University of Central Florida, how the crowd, you got big crowds there. But to be on the offensive line, and your mom and dad had to be proud to see 3 of her sons out there playing football.
Yeah, they brag on us every chance they get to, and being so close, us being from Miami, then just going right up the road to Orlando. They were at every single home game that we had, and they were extremely proud of us.
Now, did you guys all start together on the same line?
No, my older brother, our freshman year started at left guard, and me and Justin were reserves at right guard and right tackle, and then our sophomore year and my older brother's senior year, he started at left guard again, and me and my brother sprinkled in every now and then at starts at right guard.
That had to be cool, like playing the offensive line with your brother on the offensive line at the same time, knowing that your family is guarding that quarterback together. That'd be a cool feeling.
Yeah, it really was, man. It was playing at UCF and then being able to play with both of my brothers at the same time was one of the best experiences I've ever had.
I gotta ask though, man, like, why offensive line? Like, offensive line, man, that's a hard job, man. You guys take a brutal beating.
You guys
every
don't
game.
get enough credit for what you do on the offensive line. It's always the guys that you protect get all the credit and the glory.
So why offensive line? Like, why did you choose offense? Was there even another position at one point you thought about going?
Well, growing up, I wanted to be a receiver. Just my body wasn't really set up for that. So I used to tell my dad and my brothers that I was going to be a receiver, catching touchdowns and all that kind of stuff. But I got to high school, and the first 40 I ever ran was a 6'6". So it was like you really can only play one position that much athleticism. So the choice was made for me.
So you got to play in the AAF league after, and recently that closed, and we got to talk with Aaron Evans about that. And we personally thought that was a really good league to have. It's nice to have like almost like a minor league system that filters into the NFL. How was your time there? Did you enjoy it?
Man, I had a great time playing. Well, first of all, it was in Orlando, which is pretty much my second home. And then a lot of the guys that I played against or grew up playing in Miami with in high school. Most of the players on our team were from Florida, and then a lot of UCF guys were on that team as well. And we were winning. We were getting paid well. It was a really great experience, and I feel like that's part of the reason why I got the chance with the Bears is off of the film that I got playing for the Apollos.
Now, Jordan, what changed? Because like when you were in college, you're a good player. Now, and when you went to the AAF, well, you went into the NFL first. But what did they look at that's changed? Because you were rated as one of the best offensive linemen in the AAF. Mm-hmm. I mean, what changed over that period? Do you think you changed, or is it that tough to get into the NFL?
I think I changed from the standpoint, maybe not. Well, I feel like I've physically gotten better, but mentally knowing the game, being able to play more than one position. When I came out of college, I was just a guard, and I could play guard, center, and tackle now. Mentally knowing defenses, knowing what calls you have to make from an offensive line standpoint, and just confidence knowing that you're supposed to be in that position. Like the NFL is a whole bunch of guys that are great athletes, and you have to always be mentally strong enough to handle the ups and downs of being in the NFL. And I feel like coming out at 21 years old, I don't feel like I was ready for that, but I feel like I am now.
Do you wish, like I said earlier, the AAF I personally thought was a great league to have.
Yeah.
Did you kind of wish that kept going? Because like as you can see, there were a lot of people that got picked up by a lot of NFL teams. Like that was a great filter to have.
Yeah, I really do wish that it would have kept going, not just for myself, but for a lot of guys that just need a little bit more, I guess, training or more polishing after college to try and make their claim in the NFL. That's what it provided for a lot of guys in that league, and it was a great output. It was great production on the field. The games were fun to watch, so it would have been a good thing for everybody, the viewers and the players.
Now, since you're with the Chicago Bears, and I don't know if you've ever been on a practice squad or not, but what happens to those players once you go through waivers and they put you on a practice squad or however that works? What does that consist of as far as you getting practice time? I mean, do you even get on the field with the main players? Are you just like a substitute that's out there just in case they need you?
No, I've been on a practice squad before, and essentially what you're doing is just being the scout team for the next week. So let's say if I was on the Packers practice squad in 2014, if we were playing the Dolphins, then I was going to be a scout offensive lineman that's given a look as the Dolphins would. So you're getting to go up against the number one defense most of the time, getting to hone in on your skills like that.
Oh wow!
But your main purpose is to help the team be prepared for the team that they're going to be going against.
Now, you guys have camp coming up in about 3 weeks. Mm-hmm. Are you guaranteed to be a starter now, or do you still have work ahead of you?
Oh no, I still have work. I mean, this is me being signed is just an opportunity to showcase that I deserve to be on the 53-man roster.
That's
there's
awesome.
No guarantee. Yeah, there's no guarantees or anything like that. But I just know I have to put in the work, and the best players will stay there.
I gotta say again, congratulations. The Bears are a great team. They're on the rise right now. Now, after everything you went through, you're undrafted in 2014. You go through the AAF. Do you think that everything you went through made you physically and mentally a better player going into the minicamp as you tried out for the Bears?
Definitely, yeah. Playing arena ball, then playing in the AAF gave me confidence. Helped me fine-tune some things that I need to work on as a football player as well. So I feel like all that set up for me to, do well in this second stint.
Now coming into the Bears, do you know what position you're going to play right off the bat? Because I know you moved around from guard to center. Do you even care what position you play?
Or do you get a chance to try out at both?
No, wherever they put me at is where I get the chance to try out at. I don't have much of a say-so in that, but it doesn't really matter to me. I'm comfortable at whatever position they decide to put me at.
Oh, absolutely.
Now, like, you see this a lot. Like, I as a fan, I always wondered, like, as watching a game live, you'll see, like, a guard get injured, and typically they'll slide a lineman over. And some of the commentators will talk about how that's a difficult job to kind of move over. Do you find that difficult at all, like, in the middle of a game to, like, switch positions, or do you find it kind of just easy to you?
What changes as far as assignments and stuff like that?
Well, mostly everybody on the offensive line knows every other position's assignment because a lot of the times they're going to be working together. The only thing that changes really is the technique. So if a tackle slid in the guard, you know your landmarks where you're going to be punching is going to be a little bit tighter because the guy's not going to be as far. A 3 technique is not going to be as far as a defensive end would be on a tackle.
Okay.
So just knowing your landmarks, your technique, that's what you really have to hone in on once you make that change, like from play to play.
Now, your brother made a name for himself last year in Green Bay. Apparently, they had a lot of injuries on that line, and, like, he was playing different positions every week.
Right.
Imagine now, you're up in Lambeau Field, you're with the Bears, your brother's with the Green Bay Packers. What jerseys your mom and dad wearing when they're in the seats?
They're probably going to try to keep a neutral stance. One of them will wear my jersey. One of them will wear Justin's jersey. They'll switch since we play each other twice a year. They'll probably switch it up.
You gotta get that one that's like it's like a half
and half.
Yeah, they've already talked about doing stuff like that. So I guess we're going to see how all that unfolds too.
Now that's a pretty tough division. I mean, it's kind of wide open. The Packers aren't running away like they used to anymore. Is there anybody you're looking forward to going up against on that offensive line?
I haven't even really thought about it, to be honest. I've just been trying to make sure that I'm ready for whoever I have to go against. One of my old line coaches says it's about what you do, not about what somebody else does. So I'm just trying to focus on myself.
Good answer. Yeah, I was going to ask you, I didn't know, like, when you go to the next week, if you study, like, film against the person that you're going to be going against, or are you just like, it's just another game, I'm just going to do my best and do my job?
Yeah, no, I will study who I'm going to be going against, though, because, everybody gives up tendencies, some, like, whenever they're going to be running stunts or when they like to do their favorite move or something like that. So if I can get a heads up on any of that, then I would like to be better prepared for it. So I will study who I'm going to be going against, mostly the inside linebackers, 3-tech, nose guards, and try to figure out if I can get any kind of leg up in the game.
Now, are you training now, like after minicamp, or are you guys still doing practices now?
No, we have the after veteran minicamp, we have pretty much a 5-week break. So I'm just training, making sure I'm in shape. I was allowed to keep the iPad that they gave us, so studying, making sure I'm good with all the calls and stuff like that. So just staying prepared and making sure I give myself the best chance to showcase my talent when training camp rolls around.
Do you ever watch, do you have anyone you look up to, like an old-timer, an old offensive line guy that you try to put your game after and, like, watch tape on how they did things, or are you just, just go off and do your own thing?
I kind of just go off and do my own thing. I like looking at guys that are in the top of the game now, but being a little bit older and knowing the things that I'm athletically capable of, I just try to make sure I stay within my game and not try to do things that somebody maybe a little bit more athletic, maybe a little bit longer than I am, are trying to do, and just try to make my game the best it can be.
Now, I got to ask, because you know what? The offensive line, they don't talk a lot about what you guys do in the off season. Do you have a regiment as far as eating, lifting weights, what you guys do? Because, like, all you hear about is the receivers, the quarterbacks, the running backs, the defensive guys. What does the offensive line guys do, like, in the offseason to stay in shape and get ready for the next season?
It's a lot of similarity between what we do and the receivers do. It's just stuff that patterns to our game a little bit more. So, obviously, we're probably going to lift a little bit more and really just do drills that are going to help carry over to me doing well on the field once camp and stuff rolls around. So I'll lift for about an hour and a half, some sort of conditioning, whether it be stairs, interval sprints, or just position drills with a different group of linemen. But it's a lot. It's a lot of similarities in it. It's just, I guess, it's not as flashy to show, so people don't talk about it as much.
And I gotta ask, are you ready for that Chicago cold weather? Because it gets pretty cold up there, man.
Man, I'm not really sure how to prepare for it, but I guess I'm gonna have to get ready in some way. But whenever it rolls around, I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
Yeah, you're going to be in the Windy City.
Now going up against some of these elite defensive linemen, like you have Von Miller, you have Cam Jordan, is there a game plan you have for specific people, or do you kind of like, or is it more of like a thrill type of thing? Like you want that guy, like you want to block their biggest guy they have.
Yeah, like does the line in general, do you guys, like when you're in your meeting, is there certain guys that you focus on, like this guy's getting double teamed, this guy is getting that? Not just you individually as far as your assignment, but is it, I mean, it's got to be more than just hike the ball and you hit the guy in front of you, correct?
Oh, no, yeah, definitely. For the elite guys that you go against, they're going to be a game plan to try to get as many people on him every play. But at the end of the day, you're gonna have to win some of your one-on-one battles. So that's where a lot of the film study comes in, seeing those guys' tendencies, what they like to do the most. If it's third and long, what move you think they're gonna go with first. Playing the probability game just so you can give yourself the best chance to win against any of those elite players.
I got to ask you a dumb question because you know what? I'm not even sure what it is anymore. What do they consider a hold in the NFL now? Because it almost seems like it's a penalty. They just throw it like whenever they think they need to throw it, you know. And like you hear commentators say there's holding every play, but
I mean, from what I've always learned, as long as you're inside the defensive lineman's framework, it's not holding. But it's really on the ref's discretion. I mean, if he feels like it's holding, he throws the flag, then you can't debate it. It's like you can't challenge a hold, so it is what it is.
Is it easier for you inside the line like that, the high to hold, than it is on the outside on the corners?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, if things get a little bit crowded in there, you might get away with it here and there. And then sometimes you might have a perfect block and the guy, flops or flails, and then you get called for holding. So it's a ticky-tack call, but, I mean, you just got to go on to the next play if it's bad or good.
Now it's your first year back in the league. Are there any goals you're setting for yourself this year?
Well, to obviously make the 53-man roster and to be a contributor as much as I can. I want to be a starter. My end goal for before my career is over with, I want to be a first-team All-Pro, and
Awesome.
just kind of however long it takes for me to do that. It took me 4.5 years just to get this chance again. So I don't mind waiting as long as I'm just going to put in the work and hope for the best.
Absolutely, man. That's awesome. That's awesome. Now, how does an offensive lineman prepare himself to stay healthy all year? Because you see a lot of offensive linemen go down. I mean, it's a brutal position. You take a lot of beating.
Yeah, you guys don't really get much of a break, Like
Yeah.
receivers, they're constantly moving receivers in and out, defensive line. Like you see linebackers switching out. But you guys, you don't see too much of that substitution for offensive linemen in the game.
Yeah, you're not going to see too much because the group works so much together. You don't want to mess up that cohesion at all. And honestly, man, you try to do stuff that keep you flexible, whether that be doing yoga or stretching at night, making sure that whatever lifts you're doing, you're working all ranges of motion. So in case you get in a compromisable position, that you can be used to it and not be as injury prone. But I mean, all of it's really luck, man, because guys get hurt stepping the wrong way. Nobody's even touching them. So you just got to really hope and pray, put in the work, and just hope that injury bug doesn't come by you.
Well, the biggest injury you guys have to really worry about is someone rolling up underneath you and taking your legs out, correct?
Right, yeah, like an ankle or knee or something like that, just being rolled up because, guys are always falling on the ground in games.
You know what? I have an interesting question. How difficult is it when you're in a loud situation, like a loud stadium? How hard is it really for you guys to stay on pace and go to a silent count? Does it really make the game difficult for you guys?
Yeah. We have to practice that during practice, but the best way to stop the loud noises is to keep moving the ball. If you get in the third and long, it's going to be tough. If you're not putting points up on the board and the crowd is getting into it, it's going to be tough. But if you're scoring and keeping the crowd quiet, then it's not as bad. But you gotta be productive in order to really beat the sound.
Now, did you watch the Saints and the Rams playoff game last year?
I did.
I got two questions for you.
He's a Saints fan, Jordan.
Number one, you got to admit that was pass interference, right?
100%. Yeah.
That's the correct answer. No, but number two though, like when you were watching that game, like you could literally see the offensive lineman, like they're covering their hands on the offensive lineman's ears and screaming at them. Like if in that predicament there, like as an offensive lineman, like what do you do? Like I know you just said like getting the first downs, but like when you're in a playoff atmosphere like that, like what's going through your mind?
Yeah, like if you can't hear, is everyone looking at the ball for it to be snapped and then you just move then?
Yeah, a lot of the time that's what you have to do is just look at the ball, get off the ball a little bit, so you can give yourself a little bit more time, and just look at the ball and get off as fast as you can. Because if you can't hear anything, then you gotta go at the ball like the defense does.
That's got to be a crazy thing to be witnessing. I don't.
No, yeah, it actually really sucks because a lot of the times you're going against a guy that's more athletic to you than you. They're going forward, you're going backwards, so you're already at a little bit of a disadvantage. And then if you get off the ball late, it's pretty much an L off rip. So you just gotta really hone in and hope that you can hear a little bit.
It's gotta be a disappointing feeling to like know the guy beat you and you turn around and you're watching your quarterback getting sacked. Like I always said, like when you watch that on TV, like that's gotta be the most disappointing feeling just to know that you.
Well, a lot of the times it's the running backs that miss the block on a blitz or that it's just like wow.
Yeah, but that is a pretty disappointing feeling. You try to make sure that happens as little as possible.
But you know what? It's even tough to sack a quarterback nowadays because you have to fall on him a certain way or it's a 15-yard penalty anymore.
Yeah, I'm not even a defensive guy, and I feel like that's pretty stupid. If a guy gets to the quarterback and sacks the quarterback, you shouldn't have to worry about which way to fall.
Once you leave your feet, it's impossible to make your body contort it another way so you don't land on them. I mean, it's tough.
Or you're going to hurt yourself. I remember a guy for the Dolphins tried to fall off the quarterback, sacking him and tore his ACL last year. I can't remember his name. But, you're going to hurt yourself trying to stop your body going full speed like that.
Now, I obviously know you play for the Bears right now, but growing up or even still to this day, do you have a favorite team that you might secretly still root for on the side, or are you just like a fan of the team you're playing for?
Maybe the Cowboys or somebody?
Maybe not the Cowboys, but my dad, I mean, being from Miami, my dad is a huge Dolphins fan. I always rooted for the Dolphins just a little bit.
Yeah.
So your dad remembers the good Dan Marino teams.
Yeah, he talks about the good old days all the time.
Well, we live up here in Philadelphia, Eagle territory, and we have a house full of Cowboys and Saints fans.
No Philly fans up there in Philly?
No.
I mean, nobody's a Philly fan in this household.
That's a dirty word in this house. The only thing we root for out of Philly are the Sixers and the Flyers.
Okay.
And we're kind of holding our breath because Saturday we find out they're going to get Jimmy Butler and Tobias Harris back.
Okay. I mean, I hope y'all. I mean, Philly, the Sixers had a nice little team. They just got to put it together, really.
Yeah. Do you follow basketball at all?
I try to. Not as much as I do football, obviously, but I keep my eye open a little bit.
Now, you a Heat fan because you're from Florida?
Most definitely.
so you're definitely still missing LeBron.
Yeah, 100%. But I'm happy for. I'm not one of the guys that was mad when he left. I'm happy for the 2 rings and the 4 back-to-back finals.
Yeah.
And D Wade had a great year too. That was a great retirement year.
Yeah, 100%.
Now I don't know if you focus on this stuff at all. You're probably more focused on like making the starting lineup. But have you seen the Bears throwback uniforms they're going to be using this year?
I may have caught a glimpse of it, but I didn't pay too much attention to it, honestly.
Because they look fire, man. That's like that.
Yeah.
It's like the orange and the blue, and they got the stripes coming down. It looks really sick.
Oh yeah, I might have to. Yeah, I got to check that out.
Well, how is the Bears line? Do they have all their starters coming back? I know you guys you have a new coach and stuff coming in, correct?
Mm-hmm. I mean, the last year I believe was Matt Nagy's first year, and they did a really good job. And most of their starters are coming back. They have Charles Leno Jr. at left tackle, Cody Whitehair at left guard. I can't remember the name of the center right now, but he was a 2nd-round pick 2 years ago. He's a good player as well. Kyle Long at right guard, and then Bobby Massey at right tackle.
Well, Long's getting a little old, isn't he? And then the center's going to be Jordan McCray this year.
Hey man, that's what I'm trying to do.
Your team's going to be dominant this year, man. You still have. Oh my God, there's so many players. Cohan is lights out speed too. I'm excited to see him. And Trubisky, man, he's really looking like a true quarterback now.
Yeah, man. I was only there for veteran minicamp, but everybody's looking good, man. It's going to be a lot of competition in a good fall camp, I think.
Well, you know what? It almost feels like this year the whole NFC, the whole side is going to be up for grabs this year. A lot of the good teams are going to rise to the top like they always do, but your division especially, there's no true real team that stands out.
Right, yeah. The Vikings are going to be good. The Packers, with Aaron Rodgers, always have a chance. The Bears are going to be good. Detroit, it always puts up a good fight, too. So it'll be interesting to see.
All right, Jordan, I got to say, we want to thank you for joining us on this podcast today. And we really hope you handle the cold pretty well because you got to go to Lambeau and Chicago. And it gets pretty cold there, man.
We're going to be rooting for you, man. We really are. And I hope that everything works out for you and you get to play against your brother on that, that rivalry that you guys are going to have, Chicago Bears and the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, man. I appreciate it, man. Thank you guys for having me.
No problem, man. God bless, Jordan.
All right, have a good one.
All right, bye.
Bye. All righty, that was Jordan McCray that joined us on the podcast today. Just signed with the Bears, and we're wishing him the best of luck this season. Also has a brother who plays for the Packers. That's going to be awesome to have his brother.
Twin brother, which is pretty cool. Interviewing guys like that, we're going to get a perspective from different players on different positions, and it's awesome. Like those guys are like the forgotten heroes on the football field. They're looked at just overweight players who don't really do much, but these guys, they bust their butts in the gym, and they never get substituted. So unless they're hurt, and they're out there busting their butt, and making guys like Zeke and all these other running backs look good, and protecting the quarterback and making them look good.
But back to the sports talk. We'll start in the NBA. So much going on in the NBA. I don't even know where you want to start. Although we can start with, let's see, Kevin Durant declines his $31.5 million player option. What's his face? It just became a free agent from the Brooklyn Nets.
Well, the Kevin Durant one's interesting because he could have made $220 million if he stayed with Golden State Warriors.
Just at the bench.
And he opted out, and he is in New York City right now with his agent, and rumor has it that he is going to be going to either the Knicks or he's going to be going to Brooklyn. And the biggest thing is Brooklyn is leading right now in that they think that Kyrie Irving and Durant are going to both end up in Brooklyn.
I'm really, really hoping though that they both end up with the Knicks.
And also, there's a lot of things going on where Golden State want to sign and do a trade, and apparently Durant wants nothing to do with Golden State Warriors. And from what I heard, he actually has a lawsuit he's talking about having against Golden State Warriors medical staff for malpractice.
I heard that too.
So I think the ties there are done, and I think that's going to open up the door for them to give Clay a max contract of $190 million, which will keep him there. He was just seen in L.A. TMZ snuck into where they're filming that new movie that LeBron is doing.
Space Jam. But we're jumping too fast. I wanted to talk a little bit about Kevin Durant.
No, we're not. I'm not jumping. We're going to go back to it. I'm just saying we're talking about Golden State in general. They're going to have options now of signing another big name, and right now Clay is the biggest one that they're looking at.
I think that they're personally just going to give that max deal to Klay Thompson. That's it. Maybe get a few pieces to surround the rest of the team. Kevin Durant. If I'm a GM, I'm going to be honest here. I'm giving him the 4-year deal. I don't care if he's missing out the first year. It's worth it. He's still Kevin Durant. He's one of the best in the league. I'm taking him for the 4 years. I can get him. Like, if you're the Knicks, if you're Brooklyn Nets, you need him 4 years. Madison Square Garden, you'll build that up. And with KD, you can recruit other superstars like a Kyrie Irving, like freaking Jimmy Butler.
You know what's going to be funny? If they do go to Brooklyn, then the Knicks, again, are going to get snubbed. They're not going to have any big names there again. I mean, what is wrong with the Knicks? I mean, they used to be a powerhouse.
I would love to play for the
Knicks. And now, like, nobody wants to go to New York, and I have no idea why.
They're saying that the Knicks should go full out. Like, right now is their time to go I mean, look at how many people are free agents right now.
Well, the only one that is really linked to them right now is Boogie Cousins. They're saying that at Sunday at 5:01, the New York Knicks are going to make a big push for Boogie Cousins.
I didn't know that Terry Rozier was a free agent. And they're saying that he might go to the Knicks. And I personally like Terry Rozier. I think he was – I know he struggled a little bit, but I think he was a little underrated. When Kyrie Irving was injured, like, he performed pretty well, like, playing that role. And I think he's got a lot of potential for a young guy.
I tell you, the thing that is so interesting about this whole free agency frenzy that's gonna kick off is everything is going to be wide open for next year. Golden State's going to be a different team.
I think Golden State's still fine.
Houston, they're talking about having a complete sale there. I mean – you talk about Toronto. If they lose Kawhi, Boston is not going to be the same. Brooklyn's not going to be the same. And like Chris Dale said in a message that he sent me earlier, Atlanta's done a lot of good things.
Yeah. Speaking of the Rockets, I heard that they have a team they want to trade Capella to, but they want Jimmy Butler for that trade. So I'm thinking, like, what if that's like a Sixers type of link thing? Like, would the Sixers get Jimmy Butler back and then they trade him? But I don't want to trade Jimmy Butler. I want Jimmy Butler back with us.
Well, they're talking about a possible three-way trade, and the way it's going down, it's going to be between Houston, the Dallas Mavericks, and the Philadelphia 76ers. Jimmy Butler will go to Houston. The Dallas Mavericks will receive Capella and Eric Gordon, and the Sixers will get Jalen Brunson, who played for Villanova, so it would be a homecoming for him. And Brunson would give us a good quality point guard that can handle the ball and score.
I want Jimmy Butler. The thing with Houston is, if you're Jimmy Butler, you just watch James Harden have all that drama with CP3. You already had drama with the Timberwolves with Karl Anthony Towns and Wiggins, and it's just like, I personally don't think Harden is that type of guy that will mold well with Jimmy Butler. You just molded well with Embiid and Simmons, and you can run this team with Embiid and Simmons because neither one of them can really shoot a lot. But Embiid can shoot the three once in a while, but I feel like Philly is a team to beat.
Well, they will be one of the favorites if they sign everybody back. If they bring back all those key players. But I don't know what Houston's doing. Houston was close to going to the championship. They're probably the second best team. Well, now they might even be the best team. But why would you rip that team apart? Why would you get rid of
a lot of drama
Tucker, Capella, and Eric Gordon? And then CP3 goes. Even if you brought Butler in, that's not going to get you a championship.
You got to think, too, that they're almost like what Toronto did. Toronto, how many times did Toronto get to the playoffs and they lost every single year? The Houston's experiencing the same thing. They can never get past that final round to get to the finals, and so I feel like you need to mix something up because these guys aren't getting you there.
I just think Jimmy Butler would not do, other than him, he lived in Tomball. He grew up in Tomball, Texas. He'll be close to Houston where he's grown up. But I don't see him and Harden working good together. Harden likes to shoot the ball too much. I think Jimmy Butler would be more of a leader if he stayed in Philadelphia. Plus, like I said before several times, Philly can offer them a max deal of $190 million for 5 years.
I think if you look at Tobias Harris and you look at Jimmy Butler, even if you don't get Tobias Harris, you need Jimmy Butler. Because if you don't get Jimmy Butler, I don't think we're going to be the same team. Jimmy Butler is that elite superstar that I think changes a team around. That's why I just don't see the reason to go to these other teams because he molded so well with us. But I heard Kawhi has a meeting with the Lakers.
Yeah, he does. And he came out and said, too, that he would like to play with Jimmy Butler with the Clippers. I think Kawhi is just taking this out of a courtesy thing for them. I don't think he really wants to go to the Lakers. I don't think he wants to be that third member of that band. It'll be. To me, if I was Kawhi, I would stay. I would stay in Toronto. I think Toronto has the best pieces together. And they just proven they won a championship. And if he stays there, say he signs a 3-year deal or a 2-year deal and opts out the third, his third year he'll have a 10-year veteran. He's guaranteed over $300 million in his next contract.
And I heard them talking to him, and you had the whole country backing you up. But they compare Kawhi Leonard to the whole. How Kevin Durant left OKC, and he went to the Warriors, and they said that was one of the most. I forget the word you use, like a baby move type of thing. They said if Kawhi Leonard goes to LA to play with LeBron and AD, that is going to be the worst thing someone has ever done. If you think about it, that kind of is a kind of stupid thing to do. Like you basically by yourself, you took Toronto to the finals and you won, and now you're just going to go play with LeBron and AD like that. That's kind of stupid.
I don't see him going there. I really don't. And if I was him, he's like a god now in Toronto. He really is. And like we said before in the last podcast, there's only one team in Canada. He represents the whole country. That is an honor where you don't got to compete against all these other places. But this is by far, and I keep saying it, it's going to be one of the best off seasons ever because everyone is on their edge of their seat, what's going to happen with our team. And there could possibly be so many changes that it just flips the balance of all these teams, and it's wide open again next year.
Yeah, the Sixers could basically lose their whole team right now. But the Lakers are making moves. They went from being a mediocre team last year with LeBron James to trading Lonzo Ball, Ingram to New Orleans, and now they just traded 3 people to the Wizards, and they have $32 million.
Mo Wagner. Isaac.
Yeah,
Banya,
I thought it was Wagner that
and
went
Jones. They went to Washington. They just freed, and then
there. They freed up $32 million cap
Anthony
space.
Davis waived his $4 million trade clause, so they got $32 million in cap space, and
and for doing that, LeBron James honored him with the number 23 jersey, and LeBron's probably going to wear number 6.
Yep.
But 32. Now, there's a lot of people saying they shouldn't go after someone and give them that max contract. What they should do is get a lot of good key pieces to surround them. Get a good bench, which I agree with. I think you already gave AD. You're going to give him the max next year. You already got LeBron James locked up, and you can't forget about Kuzma. Kuzma's a good player. I think you get some solid players to back them up. I don't think you need another big head in there. You'll cause a lot of drama.
I don't either. I think they're linked to so many different players. They're linked to Kawhi now. They're linked to. They had something about KD possibly, but KD's in New York. They had Kemba Walker talking about going there. There's another guy, I think Beasley. He's talking about he's in the mix for that. I mean, there's so many options for out there. We'll have to wait and see. But they have to fill their bench out too. They're in another situation. They have to fill their bench out. I don't know how many draft picks they have, but their bench might be pretty young if they had a lot of draft picks.
And there's still links that LA is possibly going to go after Russell. I mean, they have the money to do it. If I'm Russell though, I don't see everyone's always like, yeah, it's LeBron James the greatest, but I personally feel like I wouldn't want to go play there. Like you have AD and
but
LeBron James.
He was there before, but now he's such a different player. He's more dynamic. He's such a scorer. And he's a good ball handler.
He just led the Nets to their first playoff appearance in how many years? I feel like they would be good together. I feel like they would be a great contending team, but I don't know if I'd want to play with AD and LeBron. I feel like you're going to lose out on a lot of time.
But the reason, he opted out. Did he opt out today? Or I
believe so.
I think that's almost guaranteeing that they have some new face coming in there.
And that's another thing too. I think you look at the rumors. They said if they were going to get Kyrie Irving, that they were basically going to push Russell out of the way, which. If I'm hearing that kind of makes me want to go to a new team after everything he's done for them.
You know what's interesting too? I believe there's 10 teams right now that have over $21 million in cap space.
There's a lot of teams that have the money to sign all these max free agents, that's why Sunday is going to be so interesting because I don't think this is going to be like a baseball offseason where you have people waiting the whole offseason. I think you're going to see moves happen right off the bat.
But I think you're going to see a lot of the small moves happen right away. I don't think you're going to see the Jimmy Butler, Tobias Harris are talking about does he really deserve a max deal. I don't think you're going to see them sign. I think you're going to see a lot of small guys sign. You're going to hear a lot of rumors, but Jimmy Butler has the ball in his court. He really can. He really does. I mean, he could sit back and take a lot of offers from different teams. Sixers can offer him that max, and 190 is going to be tough to turn down.
I think J.J. Redick's a little underrated, too. I mean, I know he struggles, but you think about all the threes that J.J. Redick has made for the Sixers. I think he deserves at least a 3-year contract. I mean, every single year he plays for us, his free throw percentage is one of the best. He drains clutch three-pointers. He's one of our best three-point shooters in general that we've had over the years.
Well, they'll probably sign him again to a 1-year deal.
Which is stupid. We should give him at least a 2-year deal.
They're going to like the Roger Clemens did when his last couple years of baseball. He just signed 1-year deals to be that 1-year, go for it all kind of a thing. I think he's in that spot, and he's another one. He doesn't have to sign with the Sixers, so
no.
We'll see.
I saw the Lakers they were doing the analytics and stuff. They were saying the Lakers should pick up T.J. McConnell as a backup point guard, which I'm a huge T.J. McConnell fan. I hope he stays in Philly.
Yeah, you don't hear anyone talking about him at all as far as the Sixers go. They just talk about Scott, J.J., Butler, and Harris. It would be tough to fill his shoes, but they do have a couple draft picks they want to bring in and get them going. Well, 501 Sunday is going to be the key. That's going to be when all the madness starts, and it's going to be a complete frenzy. But how about football? How about Tom Brady coming out today? And he posted on Instagram. Somebody talked crap about him a couple months back on Instagram saying he's washed up and he can't throw anymore. He came out today and he threw a 61-mile-an-hour bullet on film, and he's the only one quarterback in the last few combines. There was only one quarterback in the last few combines that was actually faster than 61 miles an hour, and that was Josh Allen. For him to be 40-some years old to throw that ball 61 miles an hour, that's pretty impressive.
There's a lot of sports pages coming out doing the early MVP run-ins this year, and a lot of them actually excluded Tom Brady and Drew Brees, which mind blew me because a lot of people in the comments are just like laughing. Like, how are you not going to at least add one of those guys who are in that race every single year for how old they are? They're playing so well. It's like fine wine. You know, they get better as they old.
You know, I watched Tom Brady's. He puts those videos on. I forget what site it was. Yeah, like his workout, it starts right away, and it is insane. What he goes through and the body massages he gets down after his workouts. The amount of time that this guy puts in, it's no wonder that he can play. I mean, this guy will probably be able to play till he's 50 years old, but he is in great shape, and he practices in pads and helmet, and it's really, really interesting if you guys ever get a chance to watch his videos. I mean, I know a lot of people don't like Tom Brady, but
Tom Brady's the GOAT.
What he does is just, it's mind-blowing to keep himself in that great of shape at his age.
He's the GOAT. He's one of the best quarterbacks probably ever live. I saw the Chiefs are thinking about reopening Tyreek Hill's contract extensions depending on what happens with the investigation, which is actually very interesting that they're willing, because I know they drafted that receiver with their first pick in the draft who is elite speed like Tyreek Hill. So,
well, he met with the NFL for 8 hours, and you know, it's going to be one of those Zeke cases. Zeke had no charges against him, and he got suspended because the NFL just decides what they want to do. He got suspended for 6 games. This guy came out, and you know, they found no charges against him, but not only did he apparently do child abuse against his child, and it's only, you know, speculation, but he threatened his fiancée and said, "You should be afraid of me as well."
Yeah, I mean, that's a little crazy.
I mean, if there's no suspension there, then look at AP. AP, he got suspended for a whole year, and he wasn't charged.
For all he was doing was disciplining his kid.
It would be mind-blowing that if the NFL does not do something about this.
I saw reports saying that the Dallas Cowboys should focus and prioritize on Zeke over Dak, and I think that's stupid. Because I think that it's easy to replace a running back, but it's harder to replace a quarterback.
I said, listen, I can't even speak. I listen to 105.3, and you know, I'm a Tolo, but they say all the time. It's a free plug for them. They say all the time that Zeke still has 2 years left on his contract, his rookie deal. It is cheaper for a team to franchise tag a running back than it is a quarterback. A franchise tag right now for a quarterback in the year 2021 is going to be about $11 to $14 million for that year. Where if you franchise tag a quarterback, you're going to be probably dropping about 30 to 40 mil, depending on whatever the rate is at that time. You got to get a deal done with the quarterback. And I believe that the easiest position to change and to refill is the running back position, because, you know, unfortunately, it's a throwing league. And if you have a good line and you have a good quarterback, you're going to have it's going to open up the defense, and you can put any running back there, and he's going to get yards.
You know, as I think about the situation, I think if you're Jerry Jones, you get the money. First of all, you probably have the money. You sign Dak, you sign Zeke, you sign your defense, and you keep this team together, and you win. Because when's the last time that they had a good young defense and a good young offense together? I think you need to just blow the bank open here and get as much money as you can get and re-sign these guys to last a dynasty, almost like the Golden State Warriors, because this team has the potential. I mean, you look at that defense. You look at the offense. I mean, it's elite looking.
But the problem is the market's changing all the time, and you guys are going to find out in New Orleans if they give that Michael Thomas a $22 million deal.
Give it to him right now.
But
Give it to him right now.
They're saying him and the Saints are $4 million apart.
I watched Cam Jordan get interviewed, and all they said was they brought Michael Thomas' name up. He said, "Pay him." He said, "Pay him." What has?
But that's a code.
Who has done what he's done in his first 3 years in the NFL?
It doesn't matter. That's because he has a great quarterback. Will he have those same numbers with a different quarterback? I doubt it.
Okay, but you can't say it though, because look at DeAndre Hopkins. How many times does DeAndre Hopkins have a bad quarterback, but yet he's still one of the best receivers in the league?
He hasn't had a bad quarterback.
Are you kidding me?
Who has he had?
Brandon Whedon was his quarterback for a while. All those quarterbacks,
He didn't
Brian Hoyer,
He didn't put up big stats with Brian.
Fitzpatrick.
He did not put up big stats with
He's
with
always
McCray.
been an elite receiver with those quarterbacks.
With good quarterbacks.
They've never had good quarterbacks. Deshaun Watson is their first good quarterback in a while.
You're gonna find out, okay? You're gonna pay
Oh,
him.
I
You're
bet.
gonna pay him his $20 million, and he's not. Drew Brees will not be there to see the end of his contract.
No, but Drew Brees will be
But
the
you're
most
gonna have a different
contract.
quarterback, and I guarantee you, his stats will not be as good as they are right now.
I mean, you can say what you want.
Well, it's everything goes, so I can say whatever I want.
Yeah, I disagree, but
These teams are in trouble because if you do sign him for that much money, what are you putting around him? Dallas is in the same boat.
a good young offensive line that we just built.
Dallas is the same in the same. Yeah, rookie contracts, most of them. So
Only one
you
of them.
have
Only one of
okay,
them.
but Ty, you're gonna have one good receiver. What other pieces would you put around him when all
We
these
just
other
drafted
contracts?
a second-round receiver last year who was a good young receiver who's going to come up this year. His name's Traquan Smith. Okay,
You guys are already in cap trouble. He's been for years because of Drew Brees' contract.
who's taking pay cuts actually.
Well, he has to. He only has a couple years left. You can't keep paying him big money and then expect to go anywhere. You can't fill your defense out
All I'm
because
saying is that we haven't had an elite receiver since Marcus Colston. That shows how elite our receivers have been over the years. So you can't let him walk out of the building. Drew Brees has never had an elite receiver like this to take him distance like this. So you have to sign
first
this
of all,
guy.
you guys have had good receivers going way back because you know what?
We've always had low-key good receivers like Lance Moore, Marcus Colston. We never had
Yeah.
an elite receiver like Michael Thomas,
And
though.
you just proved my point. They were nothing before Drew Brees. They were something before Drew Brees. Now they're gone, and you don't hear nothing about these receivers no more because they don't have good quarterbacks throwing them the ball.
So those receivers I named, they were with the Saints to begin with, and they became Drew Brees, and then they retired as Saints. So they've always had Drew Brees in their past.
Drew Brees can make anybody look good because Drew Brees is a quarterback that throws the ball 35 to 40 times a game.
All I'm saying is Michael Thomas doesn't need Drew Brees to look good. He's an elite receiver.
You put Drew Brees in Buffalo. I mean, you put Michael Thomas in Buffalo. You're not even going to hear about him.
That's a lie because Josh Allen's a pretty good quarterback.
No, he's not.
Josh Allen
He has the worst percentage rating in football.
I mean, look what he dealt with last year. He was injured most of his year.
Again, you just proved my point. He's not going to have the same stats in Buffalo.
I think he would.
Well, how is he? If you're going to your backup quarterback, you just said Allen was injured most of the year. How are you then? If you have a backup quarterback who's probably garbage thrown to him, you're not.
It's your opinion, man. It's your opinion.
I'm just saying. Dallas is in trouble. Dallas has, they have Zeke to fill, they have Dak to fill, they have Amari to fill, and Byron Jones. Byron Jones is going to be the one that gets squeezed out. And I think you need better cornerbacks than you do any of these other guys.
Dude, the Saints are right in their boat next year. I mean, we're going to have Marshawn Lattimore, one of the elite cornerbacks in the league. He's going to be a free agent. You have Marcus Williams, an elite safety. Like Cam Jordan's going to. We just signed Cam Jordan, but you have all these young defenses, and it's like, who do you sign first? Do you need an offense or a defense?
And Dallas don't even have a backup freaking quarterback. We're ranked 31st for backup quarterbacks in the league right now.
And what sucks is that so many guys want so much money nowadays too, so it's hard to negotiate with all these guys because they're ready to leave. There's no loyalty.
And that was my whole point about 10 minutes ago. These guys want their money, and it affects the whole team now. It really does. You can't put together a championship caliber team anymore with multiple big names because you can't afford all of them. The NFL came out with this poll the other day, and it was about fan bases in the NFL ranking wise.
I saw that.
The top 5 teams right now, is as far as fan base goes, is Dallas is number 1. And this isn't just based off of location. This is based off how fans travel, like when they go to other venues and stuff like that. New England's number 2, Philadelphia's number 3, the Giants are number 4, the Steelers are number 5, and the Washington Redskins were 11th.
Saints were 10.
The worst teams in the NFL were the Rams, the Chiefs, the Titans, Jacksonville, and Cleveland, which is surprising.
The worst fans, as in the way they act?
Worst fan base, which is surprising for Cleveland.
It's more surprising for Kansas City. I mean, Kansas City is one of the loudest stadiums in the league. Like, you think their fan base would be top 10.
But I believe it's based off of outside of their stadium, too, how well they travel and everything.
Treat everybody.
But that's crazy. How about, you want to talk baseball a little bit? The Yankees they're over in London right now. It's a 2-game series with the Boston Red Sox, which could be huge for the Yankees if they win this series because they'll be 11 games up on the defending champions, which I think I projected would not make the playoffs this year.
Dude, I'm excited for this London series. I really am. It's only a 2-game series, which is weird, but it's also early in the morning for us because it's in London. But again. I'm excited because Boston and Yankees, that rivalry, I feel like it's really lit the past couple of years, especially with Tyler Austin having a fight last year. But I mean, this is a huge game. Yankees take 2 here, man. That's awesome. They already have like an 8-game lead already over the Rays. So Boston's been struggling lately.
Yeah, and the Rays actually started a series with the Texas Rangers, who surprisingly is one of the hot teams in baseball right now. They're only 4.5 back behind Houston now. They were 11 at one point. So that's a battle for a wild card spot. I mean, Texas has won 5 in a row. They're going against the Rays, who have been struggling. So if Texas could help us out and we sweep to Boston over there, Boston would be 11 back, and the Rays would end up being 9.5 back.
Fortunately for the Yankees, they've taken another injury bug as Giancarlo Stanton goes back to the IL after he just came off the IL. And Clint Frazier didn't get called up. Tauchman got called up over him. So.
Well, what do you think about this whole thing with Stanton? Not staying healthy. I mean, again,
I don't even know what happened this time.
$289 million contract, and he just can't stay healthy. He slid into third base, and he has a knee contusion. So they're saying he's out till August.
I think that I think he's too big of an at-bat just to get rid of. I think you got to still just roll with him for a little bit.
It just stinks because he's 29 years old, and it's more like he's like 49 years old. I mean, he just can't stay healthy. I mean, it's getting to the point where it's like, what are we going to do? I mean,
you're going to have injuries. These big guys that are over 6 foot tall, over 250 pounds. I mean, you're going to have injuries. But, I mean, he's hit a home run already. Like, he's just too big of an at-bat just to get rid of. Unless someone's going to take most of the money if we trade for him, I think you roll the dice with him and keep him.
It's the reason Frazier didn't go over either is because they said that Tauchman can play multiple positions in the outfield, and that's what it comes down to. It comes down to defense. And according to our sources, Clint Frazier is at the Iron Pigs tonight. He does have a hit, but he had a short pop-up to the outfield, and he couldn't even throw the guy out of home plate. He threw it way offline.
I know. That's one thing he needs to work on is his defense, and I think he'll be a stud if he can fix that up. Because he was well known for his defense when he got drafted and he came in the league, and it's like everything flip-flopped. Now he's big with his at-bats, but his defense has been struggling.
Well, you and I saw that thing on the MLB station there where they talked about Clint Frazier and the things that he can do to fix his problems.
Yeah, that he was running more on his heels than his toes, and his vision with the ball was a little off. And it's just some things that he needs to work out in the minors, and he'll be back. He'll bounce back.
Then they said he needs to get deeper. Like some of the plays he made, if he got a little bit deeper, like the one he actually had his arm across his face blocking the view of the ball, and he dropped the ball. But like I said, if he gets a little deeper and gets to the wall first, he makes those plays. And the thing is, they said everything he's doing can be fixed. It's just a matter of, are the Yankees trying to fix it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that he bounces back and the Yankees take this series. And
well, the good thing is Herman's coming back, and we have a couple minor leaguers that are really lighting it up down there. We have to that's our main thing. If we want to make a championship run here, we have to do something better with our pitching. Paxton got lit up again.
Paxton is always getting lit up. We need to go after a starter.
Yeah, we really do. We have to upgrade our starters.
I'm tired of the same story every single year. We get these older guys who do decently for us, and then they just suck and suck. We have Tanaka. We have Severino, who hasn't even pitched this year. CeCe's doing decent, but Hap actually has a pretty decent record. Paxton is doing just every time I turn the game on when he's pitching, him getting lit up.
They all have good, decent records because we end up scoring runs. I mean, look at the other night we played Toronto. I mean, we were down 5-0 in the blink of an eye because of Paxton. But then our bats got us back in the game. And we ended up winning 8-7. But, the other night we fell behind with CeCe. It was 3-0 in the blink of an eye. And then we ended up scoring. We hit 4 home runs that night. We won 4-3. Our bats are what's saving us right now. And the pitching does have to get better. It really does. I mean, Herman's coming back, like I said. But we have to make a big splash at the trade deadline if we seriously want to be contenders for the championship.
Yeah, we need to go in. I don't want to trade Frazier, but we need to trade some prospects and get a great starting pitcher.
All right, guys, well, we're going to end this podcast. We're going to see, like everyone else sees this Sunday, what's going to happen with the frenzy that's going to kick off.
So we'll have a lot to talk about.
Hopefully the Sixers don't let us down. That's the most important thing. I just don't want to see us lose everything after all the stuff we gave away.
Thank you guys for joining us on this podcast. We had another guest today join us, which is just a blessing for us to get these guys on here and just share their experiences with us. We are on Instagram, Twitter, Spotify, iTunes, Google Music, and Facebook. It's mostly Everything Goes T&K. The links will be in this description below. And you follow us on our Facebook page. We're most active. All of that is on there. But we hope you guys enjoyed this.
And we have to give out one big congratulations quick to the women's team. They beat a tough France team in the Women's World Cup.
Huge win.
Now they go on to play England next.
All right, guys. We'll see you guys in the next one.